Alright, I'm about to make the most absurd Tycoon game on Roblox. Why? Because I'm dying to see how Roblox community reacts to my crazy marketing ideas. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. What on earth is this guy talking about? Well, let me show you. Okay, to understand why my marketing idea is totally crazy, we need to break down how Roblox's algorithm works. This is the homepage that every player sees when they first log into Roblox. Now, every game that gets recommended on this homepage is spending what's called a home impression to show up in front of you. So here's the big question. What if Roblox players saw a thumbnail that's just a plain image of a rainbow? I mean, it would stand out like a sore thumb, right? You'd be curious to see who was bold enough to use that thumbnail, wouldn't you? That's exactly what I want to find out. But first, we need to create an actual game that's playable on Roblox. And here's the thing, I don't want to make just any game, I want to make something that's decent, but also absurd enough that no one will believe that someone actually made it. Now, if you don't already know, my favorite genre on Roblox are Tycoons. I spent over 2 years of my life diving deep into it, and now I've got 3 Tycoon games live on Roblox right now. So naturally, it only makes sense that I'm sticking to what I know best for this project, right? So with that said, let me introduce you to my newest upcoming game, Rainbow Tycoon. Alright, let's start building the game. First thing I did was create a new place on Roblox, and to keep things mysterious, I called it Rainbow Game. Then it was time to build a map. Now, as any self-sufficient developer knows, it's all about working smart. So I decided to load up an old project of mine to steal a cloud mesh. Why? Because I wanted the map to be a giant cloud that players can walk on. Since I already had that old project open, I figured why not copy over the lightning too. That's exactly what I did. Just a few tweaks to the scaling and the rotation, and boom, the cloud was ready. I resized the base plate, changed its color to match the cloud, and placed the clouds around the edge, leaving the middle empty. I wanted the Tycoon to start in the middle of the base plate, though I later changed that, but you'll have to wait to see why. With the map set, I moved on actually building the Tycoon part. I started with a smooth transition from white to red because a rainbow will start with the color red. And I didn't want the player to jump straight into bright color, so I made a nice transition for them. And now you get to watch a very satisfying rainbow time-lapse of me coloring all the parts one by one until I have full rainbow in front of me. That was worth all of the trouble. I can't believe how satisfying this looks. We've built the map, we've built the Tycoon, now it's time for everyone's favorite part, scripts. But before we add any scripts, we need to prepare our Tycoon build for them. First, we need to make sure that every part of a rainbow is grouped individually into a model. Then we've got to name those models, and I just decided to call mine Rainbow Parts. Now, for my Tycoon kit to work, each model needs to have a unique name. The easiest way to do this is just by randomly assigning each part a random number. And done! Let's do things before we start adding any buttons. We need to assign primary parts to our models and make sure that streaming behavior is set to atomic. That's it! Now we're ready to start adding buttons. But first things first, we need to steal a button model. So, copy paste later and bam, we have the button. Alright, let's set up the buttons. This part is just as easy as setting up the models. Hold on though, I just need to quickly fix the contrast in our lighting to make transition between rainbow parts smooth. Okay, now that's a lot better. Let's set up the buttons. First thing first, make sure that button we stole is named template button. Then we need to throw it into a folder called template. Now for my magic script to work, we need to name the folder with all the Tycoon models unlockables. Put that folder inside a new folder that's called VIP. And finally, inside our VIP folder, we need to add another folder called buttons. This is where all of our buttons will spawn with our magic script. Abracadabra! Now, all of our Tycoon buttons are sitting right above the Tycoon models. Magic, right? Okay, so we can't leave the buttons hanging in the air. We need to place them at the bottom of the parts the player is unlocking. The issue right now is that if the player reaches the button, they'll fall down before the part they bought spawns. To fix this, we need to move all the buttons in front of the parts the player is buying, so they don't fall through our game. And the last thing we need to add for our Tycoon kit to work are two spawn points. One will be where the Tycoon itself spawns and the other will be where the player spawns. Now let's position the spawn points correctly, and with that we're ready to start adding in the scripts. The scripts are now in the game. This part was super simple. I just grabbed my Tycoon kit and pasted it into the place. After that I made sure to give the place all API accesses, and that's it. But now if we actually want to see our scripts working and have a fully functioning game, we need to configure our Tycoon. We do this by putting the model names into the progression script. Since I've got 166 buttons, that means I have to paste the names into a progression script 166 times. So, time-lapse time. Alright, now that we've got all the names in the progression script, there's one more thing we need to do. We don't want to show all the buttons to the player as soon as they join. We want them to buy the first button and then unlock the next one. To make that happen, we need to configure unlock IDs inside the progression script. And once again, time-lapse time. With the progression script set up, it's time to group our Tycoon models and buttons and give it a nice simple name like Map 1, just for testing. Then we'll give our Tycoon kit a fresh data key and we're ready to test it out. Let's hit play and see if everything works. And as you can see, we're successfully loading it to the game, but hey, we're still not done yet. We need to give our unlockable models proper tags, but luckily that's as easy as a quick click of a button, just like this. Now, in order for players to actually buy the buttons, we need to add a bank model where they can collect the cash. So let's just steal that real quick and give it a proper tag, because trust me, if we don't, it's not going to work. And just like that, it seems like we're finished. Players can spawn into the game, they can buy buttons, they can collect cash. What more do we need, right? But oh boy, was I wrong. You won't believe what happened next.